Hi, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. Our video blog this week, we're going to learn more about what Ottawa Public Health is recommending for you, for me, for our families this weekend. We're also meeting with the CEOs and executive directors of both Shepherds of Good Hope and the Ottawa Mission to learn more about what their plans are for Thanksgiving weekend, as well as what we can do to help them during this period. As you know, holiday celebrations are very different during a pandemic. All of individuals should really think deeply about their plans. Obviously, it will be nice weather, so please go outside, enjoy a fall in our capital city. Remember the rules, wear a mask, wash your hands often, keep 2 meter separation distances, and Ottawa Public Health is recommending for you this weekend to not celebrate Thanksgiving with anyone outside of your household. What that means is really whoever you're living with in your home, in your unit, in your house, that's who you should be celebrating Thanksgiving with, not to bring other households or going to other households. But here's one way to stay connected with your family. Make the warm food that you would be making on a Thanksgiving weekend and go deliver it to your friends and family. Come back home, turn on your computer, connect with them, eat your hot food connected with your family members virtually. Again, a reminder that we've seen a rise in cases of COVID here in Ottawa and across Ontario. It's important for us to stay within our households. These directives have been updated. They're on the Ottawa Public Health website. Learn more. I invite you to visit ottawapublichealth.ca. Now we're meeting with Deirdre Fireheit and Peter Tilley to learn more about what the plans are at the Ottawa Mission and Shepherds of Good Hope on Thanksgiving weekend. Thanksgiving weekend also has a much greater implication for some of our community partners. I'm glad to be joined by the CEO of Shepherds of Good Hope, Deirdre Fireheit. Deirdre, thank you for joining us, as well as the CEO of the Ottawa Mission, Peter Tilley. You know them both. We work closely with both of them, and I'm glad that they were able to join us today. Maybe just a sense of where your organization's at. I usually go and serve at both the Ottawa Mission and Shepherds on Thanksgiving weekend. It's a bit different this year. What do you have planned?
It's very, very different this year in terms of how we're serving, but certainly not going to be any fewer meals served. We generally have a smaller Thanksgiving dinner than, say, the Mission does, but we have about 250 people roughly that would be coming in around the lunchtime period, which would be people who are experiencing homelessness in our area, and also many people who are in their communities who are vulnerably housed in the Lower Town area, and they may be just needing to make their check stretch to the end of the month. So they might be having to make a decision between putting food on the table or buying clothes for their kids or paying their rent, for example. So it's a tough time of year for people. It certainly looks different this year, but we've all, to use the buzzword of the day, pivoted quite well during the pandemic to try to make sure we can still serve the needs of people in our community.
Peter, what about you?
Well, it is, as Deirdre said, Matthew, it's a Thanksgiving like no other. We saw Easter like no other, and I guess we're in for Christmas like no other. So challenging time of year, what we can do versus what we want to do. We wish you could be here with us, as you always are, and so many other volunteers. We wish we could do those big sit-down meals all day long, but we can't. We'll provide Thanksgiving meals in-house for residents. We've going to have a huge takeout meal set up at our receiving dock like we did for Easter, and it went very well. So the weather looks good. It's going to be 10, 11 degrees and sunny, a bit chilly, but not too bad, not rainy. So people will be lined up around the block down Besserer, up Cumberland, we believe, for several hours, and we'll be providing takeout Thanksgiving meals. And all this week, thanks to that Pelican food truck that was donated to us because they weren't using it, we've been going out into the community providing meals in some of the impoverished neighborhoods. Well, we've kicked it up a notch, and we're going out and delivering Thanksgiving meals all this week throughout the week and the weekend. So we've been adding that piece. But yeah, it's a hard time of year, and that we're missing the way things used to be and trying to cope with the way things are and adjust.
Well, I think the biggest thing that most people can do right now, because the costs have gone up for all of the shelters, to just implement new measures for mitigating risks around contracting the virus. So we put in plexiglass on our tables so that people can be physically distanced, plexiglass between the people who are serving the meals and the clients, and even just the cost of food has gone up. So if people can make cash donations, because then we can actually leverage those donations in a much greater way by bulk purchasing. So that is always great. For us now, the weather's getting colder. We're actually hoping that the community will donate things like hats, mittens, winter boots for men and women, because we at Shepherds we serve women as well in our women's shelter, and as well as winter coats. And we're always in need of linens, so people are just putting new linens on their beds and getting rid of gently used linens and towels, those kinds of things. That's the kind of stuff that we could really use.
We've had volunteers coming in. We, like many organizations, put ourselves down to a core group of volunteers who were trained during the pandemic. Of course, by July and August, they were burning out and we had to recruit some of our former volunteers, new volunteers, and we've been running them through the training protocols and processes that are all different now, of course, and always a moving target. But we've brought in a group of our regular volunteers on the nights now. So we're deboning and prepping and preparing like we always do on a graveyard shift here at the Ottawa Mission. So we're doing what we can. Deirdre's right. The hardest part in all of this is we're going to miss those faces around the table. Matthew, you've been here enough to see how many women and children actually make it into the shelter on Thanksgiving, a men's shelter like this, because they're out in the community, they're lonely, they have nowhere else to be, and they don't want to be alone on Thanksgiving or Christmas. They'd rather come celebrate it with a group of people, a community, and that's not going to happen this year. The most they'll come close is to a takeout meal being handed to them at our receiving door.
If people can help, I want to make sure that we're both residents are aware of how to help Shepherds and the Ottawa Mission heading into Thanksgiving weekend. Peter, start with you. What's the best way to donate or contribute food donations?
Sure. So we're still taking turkeys after Thanksgiving too. We'll be needing volunteers. I'm sure some will be ready for a break, and people can go online and register here at ottawamission.com. And, as Deirdre and I both know, people can make a financial donation. We still have high demands that this pandemic has driven and put on us all. So the public's been great. Ottawa has been responding. Of course, I know Deirdre's in the same boat as I, that as we move on through the next few months, we're hoping the support will still be there, because our challenges are there. We haven't reduced our staff. We haven't reduced our intensified cleaning efforts. We're still dealing with this pandemic. So people can help out anyway.
The best way to donate is to go to our website, sthottawa.com, and you can click on the link to donate, which we really appreciate. The community has really come together throughout this pandemic. As Peter said, the costs have actually gone up, and we've tripled our cleaners. We've had to, bring in new staff to work on front line. We've had to order PPE, all of the things that we were never doing before. So the costs have really gone up. So the community can really help with that. And Ottawa is a caring community. We've seen it throughout this pandemic. The response has been incredible. People care about people who don't have a roof over their heads, and that we hope continues for the next while, because we're all in this together for sure.
Thanks, Peter and Deirdre. You do great work in our community, and I'm happy we had a chance to connect, even if it's virtual, ahead of this weekend. Before I leave you, I want to leave you on a final thought as you go on to your long weekend. First off, thanks to everyone who will be working and keeping us safe throughout the weekend. Stay safe, and again, thank you for the work that you do. Thanksgiving weekend, what am I thankful for? I'm thankful for my health. I'm thankful for my family's health. I hope that you take the opportunity this weekend to think about what are you thankful for. Have a good weekend.